that if they brought their Walkmans in to the classroom, I said, well, you can have it, but you better not be listening to it, because if you do, it's mine for the rest of the class. And I said, and if you keep bringing it in here, it will be mine for the rest of the semester. I says, and you can have it afterwards. And so one of the kids one day was getting closer to the end of the semester, and he brought in his Walkman. He was listening to it. I go, you know the rules. I said, hand it over. Mrs. Maharg, come on. And I'm like, no, you know the rules, hand it over. So this one kid and he could have been just joking. He says, well, just hit her. And I said, make my day. They didn't know where I stood, right? So then, all of a sudden, the next day, I got my police chief, and I says, come in, I want you to talk to these kids about threatening a teacher and the ramifications of that. So you know what? He came in and told them that it was just as deadly as saying that there was a bomb on an airplane. He said they had to see to it that they took those kids out. So those kids got the fear of God in them that day, and then guess what? I got called into the principal's office. Darn! Because how dare I incite this into these kids? And I thought, you think I'm going to have them walk all over me? I go, you got another thing coming, because this girl don't play like that. And you know what the kids used to say? Mrs. Maharg, why are you so mean? I says, because I love ya. And so they did. They respected me in the beginning. A lot of them didn't like me. In fact, I'll venture to say one of them I know for sure hated me. He hated me until one day what I did is I said, you're in welding, aren't you? And he says, yes, ma'am. I said, you know what? Would you build me a horse feeder? I need a horse feeder for my horses so they can hold the hay. Would you do that? I'll pay for the materials. I'll talk to your instructor and see if he will go ahead and do that. Would you do that? Okay. He built me two of the most beautiful horse feeders you could ever imagine. From that day forward, I was his best friend. Why? Why was I his best friend? Because I had found the value in him. In him. At that moment in time, he knew that he had something, and he had the ability to even make money, potentially, in there. Later on, I petitioned the school to see by having trades. Well, that went by the wayside. But you see, you have to be able to teach kids in a way that they need to learn. You need to love these kids enough to put yourself out there. I used to go get checkbooks. I taught math. I went to the credit union and got checkbooks and checkbook the registers so that they would learn how to do that. I would help them set goals financially. I would do all these things for them. But I didn't take any of their nonsense, not one bit. And when parents would come in, they say, well, why are my kids flunking? I said, because I go, look, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell these kids. I tell them, you know what? I don't give A's and I don't give F's. I just report the results. And that's exactly what I did. Your child isn't performing. So the problem isn't with me, it's with him. But you know what? I'll be glad to have an actual date with them to go ahead and sit there and tutor them. If that's okay with you. You'll have to come get them because they can't get on that bus because they're going to be with me. So I made certain that those kids learn. So see, there's a two-edged sword here. You have parents, come on, help those teachers. Help those teachers help the kids. And teachers, for heaven's sakes, you better be teaching. You better be doing what you were hired to do. And police officers, thank you for supporting us teachers when we need you. Because that officer came in there and he told them what the law was. And so I was so grateful for that officer that came in. School administration, well, they slapped my hand and saw to it that I didn't work till the next year. And I was cool with that. I knew I was there on a temporary basis, and I was going to do all that I could to enrich those kids' life. So I encourage you to get involved. Do everything that you can to help these kids excel. And for heaven's sakes, if they don't want to go to college, don't send them. Not all kids are meant for college. In fact, many of them will excel in their traits. Like I said, this young man did welding. Some can be barbers, hairstylists. They can be electricians, plumbers. Have you ever paid one lately? They're pretty expensive. I think they're making a pretty darn good living. You know what? And they are not in debt financially from the colleges. So, you know, you go for maybe a year, journeyman, master, whatever it is that you're going to do, you maybe have a little bit of debt, but it's this much compared to that much in college. You know, I'm not against college, but not everybody has to go there. And I believe that us New Mexicans, we have the ability to work with our hands and make our living with our hands. In fact, I did. I used to do hair. I was a barber. And I also have a business administration degree, but I always made more money as a barber than my business degree. So you see, folks, it isn't always necessary to go to college or send your kids to college. Don't get in debt. Don't get your kids in debt. Help them to be the very best that they can be. Teachers, keep doing the work that you're doing. And if you're not, I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you to do the job that you were hired to do. Officers, help our teachers. So officers, we so appreciate you putting your lives on the line every single day for each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Maharg for governor. And so I appreciate your vote, June 7th, 2022.